There are roughly 3 steps to finishing a wall: rendering, skim coat, and painting. Now, the last one is obvious. You can see it. You can pick the color. You can even do it yourself. But the first 2 steps, well, not so much. They're hidden beneath the paint, so they have to be done correctly before you even get to the fun part. Hi, I'm here. Now, I've been in construction for over 20 years, and I run a construction company in Metro Manila. Walls make up the biggest surface area in your home, and yet many homeowners treat wall finishing as an afterthought. What they don't realize is that the final look and durability of your house depends heavily on the sequence and quality of rendering, skim coat, and painting. This isn't just about aesthetics. It's about protecting your walls from moisture, cracks, and surface degradation. So let's break down each step and why they matter. First up, rendering. This is where you apply a cement mortar over your concrete hollow block walls. The purpose is to smooth out the surface and provide a solid, even base for the rest of the finishing. Rendering also protects your walls from water damage and increases the lifespan of your concrete blocks by reducing the effects of freeze-thaw cycles and moisture expansion. Basically, it seals the surface, acting as a barrier against water penetration. But there's more to rendering than just slapping on some cement mix. The layer must be applied at the correct thickness, usually between 10 and 15 millimeters. If it's too thick, it can crack as it tries to cure. If it's too thin, it won't provide enough protection or a level surface. Once applied, the rendering needs to be cured properly. This means keeping the surface moist for at least 3 days by misting it with water. This helps the cement hydrate and develop its strength. Proper curing also reduces the chances of shrinkage cracks. Why does all this matter? Because the quality of your rendering has a direct impact on the final look and feel of your walls. If you cut corners here, you'll end up with an uneven, rough, or crumbling surface. And no amount of paint or skim coating will completely hide these flaws. Trust me, I've seen it many times. The client insists on skipping rendering, thinking it's a waste of money. Then they wonder why their walls look so bad after painting. Next, we have the skim coat. Now, this is a thin layer of finishing compound or mortar, usually applied over the rendered surface. The purpose here is to smooth out any hairline cracks, pinholes, or imperfections so you end up with an even surface. This is particularly important if you're going for a flat wall look in your bedrooms or living areas. Some contractors skip the skim coat to save time or money, but this can leave you with an uneven, bumpy wall texture once the paint goes on. Additionally, if there are cracks or imperfections in the rendered surface, they'll be more noticeable with the skim coat. That's why it's essential to ensure your rendering is done correctly and cured properly. A good skim coat should be smooth, level, and free of any blemishes. Finally, we get to painting. Now, this is the part most homeowners focus on because it's the most visible and customizable. But painting is only as good as the surface it's painted on. All those imperfections we talked about earlier will show up through the paint, causing it to bubble, crack, or peel. That's why it's so important to have a solid rendering and skim coat first. Once you have an even, smooth surface, you can start prepping, sanding, priming, and finally painting your walls. Depending on the area, you may also need to use a primer before painting. Primer helps the paint adhere better to the surface, especially if you're painting over a stain or a dark color. In areas prone to moisture like bathrooms and kitchens, it's crucial to use mildew-resistant paint. For exterior walls, you need UV-protected and weatherproof coatings. Now, a good paint job makes your house look amazing, but it doesn't make up for bad rendering and skim coating. So don't skip the first 2 steps. Build walls that last, not just ones that look good today. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. For more tips on home building and renovation, follow us on social media. Now I know what you're thinking. You don't want to miss out on any of our videos. So hit that subscribe button so you never miss an upload. Until next time, happy building.